Hi Photos subscribers. Today we are talking about 8 tips for better photography. Number 1, make your camera always accessible. If that's your phone, that's awesome. If you have another camera you're using, that's perfect. Today I want to focus on your phone specifically. So if you're going to use your phone for photography, make sure you've got it available and make sure you've got it nailed down. Quick menu, whatever you do to get to your camera, know that you can and practice getting to your camera in a very quick time. Some of the things we want to get pictures of, especially if you're doing lifestyle or wildlife photographs, you're only going to have a second to capture it, so your camera's got to be out and ready. I've got my phone in a case on my belt, so I can just take it out of that case, open my phone if I have to, or I can just press the power button, wakes my camera up, and I can swipe to one side and it brings the camera up. Sometimes cameras and phones will open your last used camera setting. So if you swipe left and it brings up the camera when you want a video, you're gonna have to remember to change that setting. So just keep that in mind. Tip number 2. Make sure that when you do have your phone accessible, you know that quick lead menu like I just mentioned. I kind of combined steps 1 and 2, but have your phone accessible, number 1. Number 2, get to the camera quickly, because the phones we have are multiple devices on one, right? It's a camera and it's a phone. So make sure you can get to your phone, but make sure you get your camera application opened and usable very, very fast. Point number 3 is you need to make sure that you know how your environment is designed or how much light there is around you. If you need to add light, find a way to do that. A little tip there is I shot some of the thumbnails recently for some of my previous videos on lenses, and those lenses had 2 lights. One light was a lamp, regular household room lamp, set on a piece of furniture behind and above those photography lenses. So I got some edge lighting on the lenses from the lamp behind, but I also got some lighting on the edges, not just the edge rim of them, but I got some edges at the forefront of them because the light was above the lenses. So I got the detail around the front lit on top, I got the sides lit, I got the back lit fairly well, but that made the front dark. So what I did is I got a 6-inch by 10-inch or something 5-inch by 10-inch piece of closed cell foam, and I had a flashlight set behind that, and that closed cell foam became an illuminated piece of white surface that made the front of those lenses light up. And it was just enough that my phone was able to adjust, and it had a fairly good quality look to the lenses. Nothing was really all that grainy. I could separate the lenses from the background. I could do a whole lot of stuff with that photograph, and that was just a fairly quick 2-minute shoot with my phone. The phones that we have are very versatile. They're fairly high quality. I mean, not high quality in the single lens reflector type cameras that professionals use, but if you have your camera and you want to do something real quick and grab a shot, something to remember or something to throw up in a fairly small format or your portfolio of your skill in what you see and how you can capture it, great idea. Next tip, number 4. Once you've got your lighting down, know where your eye of your camera is. Did you know that your camera has an eye? It's called a lens. We were just talking about that in some recent videos. Lenses, and you need to know where yours is. If you're using the front camera of your phone, it's right up there next to your speaker, right up here. You see my finger? That's where your lens is on the front. I'm currently using the front camera on my phone. The other cameras on the back, some of them are in the center, right up in the center of your phone on the back. Others are on the corner up here, one side or the other. Sometimes it'll be really odd looking when you take a picture because we aren't putting that lens up close enough to the surface of what we're shooting, or we just aren't focusing the lens where it needs to be. We're not positioning it well. It's a little easier if you have a handheld camera because the camera is designed around the lens. I mean, everything is kind of focused on the sensor and the lens and the mirror that reflects what we see, right? So it's not that hard with a regular camera, but some of these phones are designed to be phones. They're not necessarily designed to be cameras. So know where your lens is and get it up on your item in the proper perspective. Maybe you need to move your camera just a little bit. Let me get a little illustration here. Maybe you need to get your camera and place it right up next to your object over here so that you've got more of a focal plane on your subject rather than having your leading line or subject over here. My hand is about halfway into my phone before you even start seeing my hand on the other side where the speaker, the microphone for my phone is. But if I place my hand up here where the speaker is, you can see a lot more of my hand, and it leads you, if you follow along the surface of my hand, it leads you right into my face. So make sure that when you're taking pictures with your phone, are you shooting specifically with your phone because you want to be able to use that shot, that idea, then make sure you know where your camera is and place it just as you need to be able to get right up on your subject. If you need to, you can turn it the other way. If your subject is over here, and take a photo that way. You can also turn it that way. Sometimes it's easy to forget where that lens is and take a shot, not think about it, and go, that just doesn't look right. Think about it, take a look at the back of your phone, turn your phone however you need to get that lens where you need it to be, following leading line or whatever it is that you need. Don't hesitate to flip your phone around. As a camera, your phone is designed to be versatile. Whether you have an iPhone or a Samsung, their Galaxy Notes are pretty nice. You just need to understand the parameters of the makeup of your device. That's really all we're talking about. Number 5, select your focus. On iPhones, you can tap and hold on your screen, and the iPhone will select that specific space for your viewing area, and it will select that as your focus. So if you select your focus and then move and your subject is no longer in that area, it's going to try and autofocus to whatever is in that area. So beware. When you tap and hold, it'll lock it to that area. Once you tap and hold, you can adjust the exposure. We've talked about that a little bit before, but just a little further free tip hint right there. Once you tap and hold, it'll select that focus for that area, and you can move up or down to brighten or darken. Brightening is going up, darkening is going down. Tip number 6, change where your feet are and the height of your camera. If you're taking a picture like this, change the height or come over to the side a little bit, and also move your feet. Walk over here, move over here. Don't hesitate to move around. You don't have to be nailed down to one spot on the floor, especially if you don't have a zoom lens. Walk closer to your subject, take a little further walk away, keep them directed so that you know exactly where they are in your shot, and you have the perfect expression, body stance, and everything else that you need from them. Point number 7, next to last, don't be afraid to get in a place or a position that is uncomfortable or might look strange to somebody else. It's okay. Once they see your photograph, they're gonna go, I know why they got down into that position or why they were doing what they were doing. That picture looks a lot better than I would have taken myself. Or I wouldn't have ever thought to look at it that way. Illustration. I was gonna try and find a picture of a beehive for you, but I couldn't find it. So let me go get another illustration. Let me show you what that looked like, because I got a picture of a building that not many other people have looked at before, but every time I've shown it to somebody, they've always said, that is a nice, unique shot. Give me a second. This is a picture of a church. There's the bottom of it. I got the lamp over there with a little bit of the tree, and I got some of the front door. but I shot up the corner and I made the steeple lean in just a little bit. I shot it with a kit lens, believe it or not, 18 millimeters to 55. And the detail in the clouds I was able to bring out with some editing. It's just a really awesome picture. I really like it. And to this day, I still like it. But I didn't shoot it as optimally as I could have. And so I've always regretted that little part and piece of it. There's a little rim around the church that always blows out because that one area and that one section around the church is just overexposed. But one of the things I had to do that is why that halo around that church building is that way is I had to expose just enough to be able to get the detail in the clouds. So I kind of had to sacrifice one for the other. Really and truly, you don't notice it unless you really get up on the print and take a look and see, then you get to see the line and the halo around it. But at a distance, it looks really nice in my opinion. Last tip, tip number 8. Your phone shutter release does not give you the option to edit how long you take. So don't hesitate. Take as many pictures as you need, get that exposure adjusted. But your exposure is not just that white little button down at the bottom. You can also use your volume up button to expose your shot right there. If you need to turn your phone around, like we were talking about for the composition, you can use it down here with your thumb. If you need to turn it around so it's a vertical shot, which is what we call a portrait, you can use your phone like this with your thumb up against that shutter button. That shutter button, volume up, is a shutter release for your phone. Now, you might need to go in and set that setting in your phone to be that shutter release, but on almost every Apple I've ever owned or known, operated if it was a friend's phone or a family member's phone, that shutter button is also, the volume up is also a shutter button. So don't forget, volume up is also a shutter button. You don't have to use the white circular button on the front of your phone as your shutter release either. So hopefully those tips are some helpful options for you and help you to use your phone as the device you've always wanted, and it brings some versatility to your shooting opportunities. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, hit that like button if this has added content to the value of your shooting, and we will see you in our next video.